Hey everybody, Smoky Mountain Dave coming at you from Allman, North Carolina. For those of you that don't know, Allman is between the NOC and Fontana. Now a couple years ago, I worked at the Fontana Marina and I met a lot of thru hikers coming through there. And they always seem to have a lot of apprehension about the Smokies and also about the area in general in terms of resupply, lodging, how to get your permits printed, shuttle drivers, things like that. So I put together a little video updated for 2023 for all the AT thru hikers that answers a lot of those questions and provides you with a lot of detail. So good luck on your thru hike, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks.
Okay, everyone's familiar with the NOC, so I'll start there. It's a tough climb out of the NOC, and it's about 13.8 miles to Stecoah Gap, which is where the AT crosses Highway 143. 8 miles to the west on Highway 143 is the town of Robbinsville. Robbinsville is a good resupply point, but remember, it's still a 2-day hike once you get back on the AT to the entrance of the Smokies. Robbinsville has a few hotels, fast food restaurants, Walgreens, and an Ingles grocery store. The city of Robbinsville was a dry town until recently when the city voted to begin selling beer and wine. Now, if you wanted to head into Robbinsville from Stecoah Gap, I would recommend throwing up your thumb and hitching a ride, as it's only 8 miles one way. Highway 143 is well traveled and very hiker friendly. And it's the same getting back to Stecoah Gap to the AT from Robbinsville. If you're uncomfortable hitchhiking, there are shuttle drivers available and listed on Far Out and AWOL, and I'll also include a list at the end of this video. Keep an eye out, as there are many local trail angels that provide various degrees of trail magic at Stecoah Gap. After leaving Stecoah Gap on the AT and climbing the notorious Jacob's Ladder, you'll hike 7.6 miles and then you will cross a paved road at Yellow Creek Gap. There are no resupply options there, but there is a hostel, and I'll include contact information at the end of this video. Continuing on the AT from Yellow Creek Gap in 7.3 miles, the next road crossing will be Highway 28. You'll be in the parking lot of the Fontana Marina at that point, and you'll have a number of options for both lodging and resupply. Okay. As you cross Highway 28, you'll be in the parking lot of the Fontana Marina, and this sign will give you a little bearing on where you are. It's 1.1 miles to the shelter, 1.4 to the dam, and 1.8 miles to the entrance to the Smoky Mountain National Park. A few short steps after crossing Highway 28, you'll come to Fontana Crossing, which is the parking lot of the Fontana Marina. There are some restrooms there, and on the outside of the restrooms, there's a phone box, and you can use that phone box to call the resort, and they can provide shuttle service from the Fontana Marina to the resort if you needed to go up there. Okay, you're at the Fontana Crossing, which is in the parking lot of the Fontana Marina. About 1.1 mile on the AT is the Fontana Hilton, and about a 1.5 mile road walk or shuttle is the Fontana Village. Okay, there's 3 lodging options in the Fontana area. The first being the Fontana Shelter, endearingly known as the Fontana Hilton. It's one of the largest and nicest shelters on the AT, and it's situated and it overlooks Fontana Lake, which is very picturesque. It also has a couple of picnic tables and a fire pit. There is tent camping available. In addition, there's a solar charging station for your electronics. There are hot and cold showers and a local water source.
Okay, your second option for lodging in the area is to stay at the Fontana Resort. The Fontana Resort is about 1.5 mile road hike from the marina, or you can use the phone box on the outside of the restrooms at the Fontana Marina to call the resort, and for $3 they'll pick you up and take you up to the resort and then bring you back. Just be aware that the shuttle service doesn't run 24 hours. The resort has a thru hiker rate of $79, and if you get up to the resort, there's a couple restaurants, you can do laundry, there's the internet up there, you can also print your permit, and the U.S. Post Office is actually located on the resort property. It's a very old historic place, and if you do get the time, I would recommend at least stopping in there, seeing it. And a lot of people stay there during inclement weather, and it's a great place to rest and relax and get ready for the Smokies. Okay, let's talk about resupply options. The first option you have is to supply at the Marina Store. The Marina Store is very hiker friendly and a great place to hang out on the lake. Now, I did a survey earlier this year with many people on this Facebook page, and I met with the Marina manager and gave him a list of the items that many of you folks requested. So he has committed to not only increasing the number of products, but increasing the quality of products from a resupply point of view. Now, in addition to all the backpacker food, he also has a microwave and toaster that you can use to heat tamales, Hot Pockets, pizza bites, and things like that. But it's a great spot to hang out, have a cold drink, recharge your batteries, both literally and figuratively. Now, the marina also has a lake tour that they do every day that takes you out on the lake for an hour and a half, and a local captain and local historian tells you a lot about the Cherokee Indians, the early settlers, and the rich history of the area. Now, when you go to the marina, make sure you ask for two things. One is the joke of the day. The guys always have a joke of the day teed up. Not the best jokes, but it'll bring a smile to your face. And secondly, the marina is offering free popsicle for every through hiker. And again, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but on a hot day, a cold popsicle can make all the difference in the world. But it's a great spot to hang out. I think it's one of the hidden gems on the trail. So make sure you stop in the marina for a resupply. Okay, your second option in terms of resupply is a convenience store that's located on the resort property called the Pit Stop. The Pit Stop has most of the basics for resupply, and you can also get a hot sandwich and a cold beer there. Now, the hours are seasonal, so make sure you call ahead for info. And again, I'll include that number at the end of this video. Okay, let me just talk about two more resupply options. The third option is to get a shuttle back into Robbinsville, which is 22 miles one way, and resupply there. There's an Ingles grocery store, Dollar General, Walgreens, and it's the last fast food you'll see until you get through the Smokies. And last but not least is to have a resupply box sent to the Fontana Resort. If you do send it to the resort, you'll have to pay $5, but make sure you note on the box your name, expected date of arrival, and phone number. I know there have been issues in the past, but they have now instituted a process whereby they log the receipt of the box and have you sign for it once you pick it up. Make sure you do send it to the proper address, and I'll include that at the end of this video. The other option is to send it to the Fontana post office, but like any post offices, it has limited hours. And in contrast to the resort, you can pick up your package there 24/7. Okay, here's a local recommendation. As you cross the dam, look up to the ridge on your right, and you'll see the Shuckstack Fire Tower up there. That's an historic fire tower from the 1930s, and it provides great views of the western end of the national park. It's about 3.5 miles up the AT once you cross the dam, so keep an eye open for it on the right side. It's marked, it's only maybe 1/8 of a mile off the trail, but it's a great spot to take a break. And again, climb the tower and you will see some spectacular views of the park. Okay, you're all resupplied, rested up, and ready to hit the Smokies. Couple things. First of all, you do need a permit to through hike through the park, and I'll include some information at the end of this of where you can get that permit. There's two ways to get it printed up locally. You can email it to the Fontana Marina, and that email is marina@fontanavillage.com, and they'll print it up and have it waiting for you. Or you can print it up at the resort, and you'll be all set. Once you get into the national park, there's a drop box where you put a portion of your permit, and then you'll be all set to go. Now, in terms of resupply, once you get into the park, there's a few ways to do that. One is to carry 5 to 7 days of food and make the entire 70 miles. The second one is to stop at Newfound Gap, and you can catch a shuttle to go into Gatlinburg, which is about 15 miles north, or you can go into Cherokee, which is about 15 miles south. Obviously, Gatlinburg is a tourist trap, but they do have multiple lodging and resupply options. Just be ready for thousands of tourists, t-shirt
shops, go-kart tracks, etc. Some people say it can be kind of a sensory overload after being in the woods for a while. The town of Cherokee, which again is south, and which is an actual Cherokee Indian reservation, is also touristy, but much smaller, quieter, and more manageable.
Now, another option is to use a local shuttle guy named Nate from Traveling Light Shuttle and Resupply. He can bring you a complete resupply up to Newfound Gap. You obviously have to call him advance to set that up, but you can call him and he can bring you whatever you need, and that'll save you from going into Cherokee or Gatlinburg.
Okay, a couple last things. First of all, it seems like many thru hikers seem to be very concerned about bears in the park, so let me give you a little bit of insight. Population-wise, there's about 1,800 bears in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. In almost every case, they want a lot less to do with you than you do with them. Now, having said that, bears are wild animals and you should exercise a certain level of caution. Most bear encounters involve bears foraging for food. Therefore, it's critical that you use proper food handling techniques. All food and consumable items, including toothpaste and deodorant, things like that, need to be stored in a bear can or hung in the provided cable systems, which are throughout the park. Now, if you do encounter a bear, which I see all the time on the trail, don't run. Try to make some noise, extend your arms, click your hiking poles, and in almost every case, the bear will run. Now, be aware if you see any bear cubs around, that mama bear is not far away and she's very protective. So give bears a lot of space and time and you will enjoy the encounter. Now, I know a lot more people who walk all the way through the Smokies and never see a bear than those that do. Now, you may also see some coyotes and wild boars, and the locals say that they're more concerned with the boars than any other animals. Now, if you do encounter a boar and there's piglets around, again, give them a lot of time and space as they can be a little aggressive when the young ones are around. Just remember, though, the boars can't climb trees.
Okay, in closing, I just have a few last comments. First of all, I hope this information will be of benefit to the class of 2022 thru hikers in terms of being in the Fontana area, the gateway to the Smokies. I think you'll find the area to be very hiker friendly and supportive of the thru hiker community. Now, if you need a separate file of the shuttle contacts or the Great Smoky Mountain National Park permit information, email or text me and I'll be glad to send it to you. Also, if you need any other information, feel free to reach out either before, during your thru hike, and I'll be glad to help you out. So on behalf of all your friends and supporters in the area, good luck on your thru hike and Godspeed.